Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome to Crossing the Streams. I am your host, Jeff Dwoski, and I'm joined by Ron, Howard, Sal, Zach, maybe Bob, and Terry, our guest, who is going to do the honors of the theme song.
Plug your ears, folks.
Take it away, Terry.
Can I get any music? I just have to do it a cappella?
It's totally a cappella.
All right, ready, guys? Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends, well, not really. Just between you and me. They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff and Ron and Sal and Bob, and then there's Howard. They call it Crossing Streams. And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But now we cross the streams. We cross the streams. We cross the streams. That's the way we do it. Here we cross the streams.
That might have been the best performance by a guest.
There he is. He's back.
There he is.
Almost Bob.
Phillips himself.
We've got one of the best shows ever prepared for you. It was great, Terry. Thanks you very much. Welcome to Crossing the Streams. Also commonly referred to as, how long will Bob be here? We never know. We never know. Bob's here and then he's not, and it's sometimes his Wi-Fi.
Right now.
You
look good.
Always, if you're in the comments section, put your guess in, and whoever's closest wins a special T-shirt.
My Lord, are you picking up that distortion already?
No, you sound great. You sound great, actually.
You sound oddly normal.
Netgear Nighthawk mesh router system is what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we do have an excellent guest. I do want to introduce everyone to our guest, Terri Stearn. Terri Stearn, comedian.
Hello.
And Terry, tell everyone who you are.
Hi, I'm Terri Stearn. And sometimes people read my name as Steam because of the R and N look like an M. So I'm thinking I have something to do with the name of the show or something. But so I'm a art appraiser and a hack comedian. I for my 40th birthday, someone bought me the Bill Bouchard's comedy class, and they said, here, it's kind of a joke. And I'm like, well, hell, I'm doing it for real. And I took the class and had some sushi with Dwoskin to talk about it, and made like $12 in 2 years, and it was good times.
Awesome.
And, so I started doing art appraising.
That's $12 more than Sal's made, and he's doing it for.
Yes.
So I invested it in Peloton stock, and now I'm a millionaire, so it's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was like, who's your agent? You're doing well.
The entire budget for the Sal and Bob show. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. So, Crossing the Streams, we get together, we talk about shows and stuff that we can stream that we love, and we usually try and convince the followers whether they should watch it or not. Last week, we had a great week. We talked about Justice League. That's that new movie by Zack Snyder that bears no resemblance to one from a few years ago by Joss Whedon. We talked about the last blockbuster, which is where Howard used to work. So he gave us all the great scoop on the last blockbuster. Ron Lippitz provided all the spoilers, so you never need to watch Murder Among the Mormons. And Bob suddenly disappeared and left Operation Varsity Blues, the man behind the college admissions scandals, in my hands. And we talked that one up as well. So that was a lot of fun. Hey, I was happy too. We got what's going on, guys? Love the intro. There we go. James and Eric from the Ear Hustling Podcast. Love the intro. Thank you, guys.
I think they love me.
You sold it. This week we got a great week. Oh my God. Kingdom, which is not the same Kingdom that we talked about in the previous week. This one's a scarier MMA version. A show called Who Killed Sara, which I'm sure Ron will ruin for us.
I'm going to ruin it right away.
Don't F with the Cats is our internet serial killer show of the week. and Orange is the New Black. But before all of that, there's an interesting phenomenon that happens on the Netflix. And our main man, Zach.
It's already wrecked it.
Our main man, Zach, who is at the pulse and heart of all that is Netflix.
Oh, well,
is here to talk to us. I do want to say I'm glad you're playing it safe, and that Mario in the background is wearing a mask.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where he's been. He can't prove he's got a vaccination, so he's got to stay that way.
Anyway,
that's fine.
This has become one of the most popular parts of the show. You're like, Jeff, if it's so popular, why even put Zach's name in the theme song? It's because it won't fit. It was very specifically built, and we had no idea that we would expand. One day, we'll just change the theme song, and it'll be 100% Zach focused. But in the meantime, the Netflix Metrix. The Netflix Metrix. I wish I was even faking that. The Netflix Metrix.
Yay! Yeah, so if you don't know, for some reason, there are 75 million people in the U.S. that have Netflix, and they watch a lot of TV. And a new category that popped up a couple months ago was this top 10 in the U.S. And I realized that I had not seen it before, obviously the first time I saw it, and I did a little research, and it turns out that it is solely based on what people watched the day before. So now at noon every day, I wait and see what America has watched yesterday, and then I talk bad about it and fume to myself and in some tiny chat rooms. But anyway, so every day I get up and I wait till noon when this updates, and then I watch 10 new things, hopefully not recently, but and then here we go. So anyway, number 10, it's a new thing on here. It's been on here for 4 days in the top 10. It's called A Week Away. Cool thing. The description is nowhere left to go. Will Hawkins finds himself at camp for the first time. His instinct is to run, but when he finds a friend, a father figure, and even a girl who awakens his heart, most of all, he finally finds a home. Directed by Roman White, it stars Kevin Quinn, who you might have seen him in Hubie Halloween, but I doubt it. This is pretty much what happens if you mix camp rock and High School Musical with a little bit of religion. It's a dramatic musical film for Christian teens. It's about a rebellious boy who has the option of going to camp or ending up at the reformatory. It's fine if you like church dramas. It's that's it. It was better than I thought it was going to be, knowing what it was about. It was worse than I wanted it to be.
It's a really thin demographic.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Especially on Netflix. Number 9, there's something called Seaspiracy. It is a cool documentary. I suggest if you're into nature documentaries, check this out. I am more environmentally aware and passionate than I guess the average person. But this documentary obviously opened my eyes. It is brilliant. Lots of information. It's absolutely a must watch. So check that out. Number 8 is Nailed It. We know this, whatever. It's boring TV you put on when you don't want to do the dishes. 7's Coco Melon. Yeah, we know there's kids watching Netflix. 6 is Big Time Rush. It's better than iCarly, but it's not. 5, Secret Magic Control Agency. I'm going to just tell you what this is about and then skip it. So the Secret Magic Control Agency sends its 2 best agents, Hansel and Gretel, to fight against the witches of the gingerbread house.
Yeah, move on.
Yep, gotta go. Number 3 is The Irregulars. It's a cool series. It is actually pretty bad. Okay, so it's set in Victorian London. It's about a gang of troubled street teens who are manipulating and solving crimes for the sinister Dr. Watson and his mysterious business partner, the elusive Sherlock Holmes. It is absolutely awful. Please do not watch it. It is probably the worst rendition of Sherlock Holmes. It is crazy. It is not well written. It's directed awfully. Very weird, very, very weird series. Irregulars, don't watch it. Number 2 is Who Killed Sara, which we're going to talk about later. And number 1 is Bad Trip, which ended up being surprisingly good. It's been on the top 10 for 4 days now. It's a mix of scripted buddy comedy road movie with a little bit of real hidden comedy prank show following the outrageous misadventures of 2 buds stuck in a rut who embark on a cross-country road trip in New York City. The storyline gets set up in like a shocking role prank. So this is Eric Andre. If you know him from the Tim and Eric show, this is his style of humor. It is weird humor, very crazy prank stuff with a little bit of actual heart. It also has Michael Conlon in it from Bones, and also Lil Ray Howery, who is the funny guy from Get Out. If you like Eric and Andre show, you will like this. The plot's pretty simple. It doesn't detract from the humor in any way, though. If you like Eric and Andre, that's the caveat. If you like that, you will love this. If you do not know who Eric and Andre is, you're probably not going to like it. But anyway, that is the top 10 in the U.S. on Netflix, and that is the Netflix
Metrix. Hey.
Thanks for the rundown.
I know you mentioned it, but if I'm not mistaken, the Big IC wasn't in the top 10.
Yes,
finally. I believe we're to blame for that. We take credit for that.
Well, I did a little bit of research, and it turns out if I make a post about how much I hate iCarly on Tuesday, I have to talk about it on Wednesday. This week, no post, not talking about it.
Interesting.
So, Christian Fletcher, I missed the title. What's this called? You had me at High School Musical meets Camp Rock. Guys, I have something to admit to all of you. The first concert I ever took my kids to was the Camp Rock 2 tour. It was Demi Lovato, the Jonas Brothers, and others who I can't remember, but those are the two of note. I've seen Demi Lovato actually twice in concert.
Took your kids to or drug your kids to?
Well, no, that one we took them to. The second time I saw Demi Lovato was all me and Robin.
It was with the guys.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach ends up getting an iCarly lunchbox with a dead fish in it sent to him. It's an old Sicilian message.
Old Sicilian message.
Well, when you mentioned this High School Musical meets Camp Rock, he said he has to clean up his act or end up in reformatory school. That's the plot of Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
Imagine if Bill and Ted, but one of them was very Christian.
Right. That's funny. Okay. That's pretty awesome. That's a great top 10.
Good,
so
good top
exciting.
10 today. Good top 10
that was really good. So
cool.
We are going to, for those of you just tuning in, we talk about TV shows, and I want to welcome everyone to How Long Will Bob Be Here? It's a show where we never know how long Bob's Wi-Fi is going to hang out. So we're going to have him go first and talk about this very interesting cat show. So if you like Eric Andre and you like his show, if you love cats, you're going to love Don't Fuck with the Cats. At least that's my assumption. That's my assumption. Just seeing the title.
Well, okay. Are we ready to go? I feel like
don't waste time asking if we can hear you. It's like I've only got a second to live. But then why did you spend it telling us you only had a second to live? Just get into it. Just go.
Don't fuck with cat. Don't fuck with me. And don't fuck with cats. Here's the thing. Don't fuck with cats. The title is so misleading.
Agreed.
But it's so disturbing, and this whole show is so disturbing that it has to have a title like that because you couldn't name it. Dude cuts off guys' appendages and nails them to various government buildings in Canada. This is what happens. Okay, and it starts off like this. This is 2012, and YouTube is awash in cat videos, cat channels. It still is, but that was one of the first really crazy pop things that went on there, where you had millions of people tuning in and sharing videos, and then they had live feeds and all this. And just out of nowhere, in one of these groups one night, somebody posts a video of a cat being asphyxiated, and it dies on camera. So these people, the cat fancy people, they lose their mind. They don't know if it's real or not. They're trying to track down who did this. Is this somebody they know? They're doing everything they can to find out who did this. So a couple months goes by. They're doing some sleuthing. These people, they love cats, and they love to play internet detective. Well, good thing for them, because the guy does it again. This time he drowns one in a bathtub. And if that's where it stopped, it would be disgusting enough. But obviously it doesn't, because I think I want to say it's four parts. Anyway, these people are so just so affected by this and so frightened and so pissed off about this that they band together worldwide to look at these videos to find out if there's any clues about them, to find out where this guy lives. Is there anything in the background? Any products that would say, which country he's from, so that they do a lot of this because the police won't do it. The police are just not interested. They call them, they won't, they just won't spend a minute on it. So as you might expect, you can't have a Netflix series of cats being killed in bathtubs. So this guy and Luca Magnotta is his name. I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say the murders don't end with cats. Okay, so a young Chinese student is murdered horrifically. And he actually posts the video of the murder and the desecration of the corpse. I mean, it's a. I'm wondering why I was watching this actually, but you can't. I mean, you could not turn away. You every episode you're like, what am I doing with my life? But I need to know what happened, right? So anything more I say will give away too much of what happened. But let's just say.
You don't have to. Did anyone else? I probably Bob's the only one that has a sponsor. Brought to you by Snap, Crackle, and Pop. We're here.
Is that how I sound?
It sounds like Terry saw it, right?
Oh, I saw it too. And Bob was right on it. The thing he was spot on. The thing that cracked me up was
people that were trying to figure out were insane, crazy people as well.
Yeah, and I love
I see a map in the background with 2 inches towards you.
Oh yeah, they're like dissecting the videos. But the lady that originally started it, if she doesn't have a bad relationship, this guy never gets caught because that's why she started hunting around cats online was because she had a bad relationship on Plenty of Fish for a couple months. So, but anyway, it was good. I thought it was a little bit too long. Like I thought they could have made that in like maybe one episode or something. I thought it just kind of dragged on a little bit. I don't know if Bob, did you think that at all?
Yeah, it did a little bit. I mean, they had to pad it and fluff it a little bit, but the payoff was worth it.
Yeah,
this guy is one of the sickest, strange. He didn't get to be a mass murderer because they caught him. But if without the help of these cat fanciers, who knows what this guy would have done.
So was a lot of it the internet sleuth thing, like the Hotel Cecil one, where they were trying, like they're watching the video. If you watch the video, the shadow, the person was clearly coming from the left to the right, and there had to have been a third person. There had to have been something cut out.
Jeff. Not to give a lot away, but they kind of use a lot of movie clues in there as well from particular movies that we all know, and they kind of throw some, or he throws some clues in from that, and it took a year and a half for this whole thing to evolve. So it definitely is interesting.
I only watched it because it had the word "fuck" in the title.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, oh, that should be good.
Yeah, they really didn't fuck with too many cats. Really, I thought it was going to be like hundreds of cats getting fucked with.
Well, I'm excited.
Dear Netflix,
more cats. Kill more cats next time.
Great.
Just kidding. Obviously,
my next door neighbors are 82, and I watched this during the first lockdown a year ago, and I rewatched it for the show. We were standing at the end of our driveways one day, talking about what we're watching on TV, and I wasn't even thinking. And I said, "Yeah, have you seen Don't Fuck with Cats?" And both these two were like, "What? I actually had the old lady saying an F-bomb.
That's funny. Well, so 2 things. One is thank you. It's not often I'm complimented on my clothes. Right. And good news, Casey Ryan Plott, Bob sounds riveting, convinced to know. I guess he's gonna not fuck with the cats, but it sounds like he's gonna watch it.
Okay,
all right, right in.
Well, it's a primer to live that type of life.
You got them one viewer. Awesome.
I hung in there.
That's it. If you can convince Casey Ryan Plott. By the way, everyone, go listen to my current episode of my podcast, Live from Detroit, The Jeff Dwoskin Show with Art Bell. And Casey Ryan Plott makes a guest appearance on the show as a celebrity voice. So thank you to Casey. I don't want to give it away.
That's television.
Good job, Casey. Good job.
So check that out. All right. Well, let's move on It's time for our guest to talk about Orange is the New Black.
That new show.
Yeah. So my daughter decides, like, she's 13 years old and she's going to be an actress, and we're moving to New York. And she's in like summer camp. That's my daughter on the left there. And that's Flocka, Jackie Cruz. That's her bodyguard in the back. He drove me around and we hung out.
All right.
And the best part about that picture was a lot of the sets don't let the moms, stage moms, have phones, because they're, you're always kind of posting and stuff like that. So my phone was back in the green room, and some guy was standing next to me. He's like, "What's going on here?" Because I was watching across the street. I'm like, "Oh, they're filming Orange is the New Black. That's my daughter." And he's like, "Well, why aren't you taking pictures?" I'm like, "I don't have a camera, So I met this total stranger in New York, and he starts like photographing everybody and gave me my email, and I got some pictures. Like the first time I got pictures of Paige on the set. Cool. Yeah. So she auditioned for Orange is the New Black for concert goer. She had a huge part in this show. And so she got the part, and this one she just got the part. I think that, I don't know, enough people didn't show up or something. Sometimes she got it for a good reason, but this one was just dumb luck. And there was filming the scene with Jackie Cruz in her bedroom, and we were in Spanish Harlem, and then they were at a concert, so it was like all superimposed Madison Square Gardens. My daughter was there, and it was and on the show Orange is the New Black, they, after the first season, they start talking about all the other prisoners and their backstory. So this was Flocka's backstory, and so it was a long day. It was probably her longest day. I think she made $180 that day. And they broke about 4 child labor laws. I always took notes and kept it all, like Harvey Weinstein, someone later on in life. So, but the craft food at this one was the best. That bouncer guy or whoever he was, her bodyguard, he's like, "Hey, have you had anything to eat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no." And so he's like, "Come on." So we go to the craft food, and Jason Biggs is there, and I'm like, "Oh, right, I'm going to talk to Jason Biggs." Like, I have no shame, I'm going to talk to Jason Biggs. And so like we're standing there and we're at the craft food and there's all kinds of good food. And I'm like, "Hey, Jason, could you pass me the apple pie?" There was literally apple pie there. And he looked over and he's like, "Really, lady, apple pie?" I'm like, "No, there's no apple pie." He's like, "Oh, sorry." That was my Jason picture. He was not impressed. Nice. He walked away. It was either that or say, "Oh, you really do look Jewish," even though you're not. But that was, I went.
Wait, he didn't appreciate the apple pie joke?
No, not really. I think he was super annoyed. It was like 98 degrees and we were in this Flocka's apartment building. So no, Jason Biggs, thumbs down. Like the TikToks talk about the celebrities.
Did you tell him how hairy he is?
What season was this? What season?
Season 3, episode 5. And my daughter's scene is actually they're not FaceTiming because FaceTime didn't exist. It was really cool because it was supposed to take place like in the past. So they have someone on set that is always making sure there's not like, "Oh, this is the wrong generation iPhone," or "Those Doc Martens weren't out yet." It's really kind of cool. That I would love that job. It was a cool job. And they were Skyping on the phone. And so my daughter's scene is the guy's phone like this. Okay. And you have to go on the TV. And like that's my daughter actually, and that's how big she was on the screen. Like she was this big on the screen. I was like, "Oh yeah, good one. That was a good one." So, yeah.
So the interesting thing about this is that your daughter made more money than Sal and has more TV credits than Sal.
Yeah,
true.
She did.
True.
Sorry, Sal.
$180. Who's her agent? I mean,
right. It gets better. She makes a lot more money after that. That was her first gig.
That's why Sal showed up today. I'm like, "You're going to want to hear it all about Terry's kid."
I can be your stage mom if you want, Sal. I'll take you all around and get gigs.
Jeff is very supportive over these things. In the 90s, I was interviewed for a show called Day One, which was basically ABC's 2020 on Thursday nights instead of Friday at the time. And Jeff, being the supportive friend he is, said, "I'm sure it was good. You were up against ER, though, so nobody watched you." Like, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate that.
In my defense, it was at the height of ER popularity.
And DVRing wasn't an option back then. You would have had to set up the VHS. Who knows how to set that up? So, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man. All right. So should we go on to something else?
I got better stories though, guys. That was my lame one. So
that's a good story.
Tell us another story. Tell us another story.
Oh, another story. All right. So my favorite. This is one of my favorite ones. This was she was called back for an audition for Girls, season 2, episode 11. Lena Dunham refuses to let anyone play her as a child, and this was before she like got pissed that Trump was president and lost all that weight. So she's kind of a big girl, and she's not tall. And so they were looking for girls that looked young, which my daughter did, but were tall. She's almost 5'7", and she was like 14 or 15 to play her high school students. She was teaching high school at the time, and actually the whole set had stairs, like a platform, so the kids would be taller than Lena, and like it was ridiculous that Lena was playing herself. I was like, this is like the dumb, when you see that on TV, you're like, really, and when we first showed up for the audition, there were 20 girls, and it was like literally every girl looked the same. Like they definitely wanted blonde, tall, blue-eyed, freckles, that kind of thing. It was frightening. I was in the room with like 20 of my daughters, and they're all like, the stage girls are like, I love you, and oh my God, where are you from, and all that stuff. And narrowed it down to 10, narrowed it down to 5, narrowed it down to 2. All right. Came down to 2, my daughter and I was like, shit, she's really going to get a good one this time. She's going to get this. Like, this isn't going to be the TV screen thing. Right. And Judd Apatow comes in and goes, all right, it's narrowed down to you 2 girls. Why don't you come on in? And they interviewed, both of them. And I'm trying to listen and, whatever. And then they came out and they're like, Paige, unfortunately, we didn't go with you. We went with Judd Apatow's daughter. Sorry about that.
Oh, so Judd Apatow's daughter. I
know. Well, yeah. And they didn't actually say that. After the whole thing went down, I was like, she looks familiar. And I started Googling. I'm like, babe, you are never going to get this part. So they gave her a cool part, and she had a nice part, and she got in a fight with Lena Dunham and got to push her and shove her and everything. It was really good. I actually wrote down all the value she made on that. She made $1,100 because she was on the show for 3 days. And none of her scenes were in that. None of her actually made it.
That's a one-nighter for me. So
there you go.
So for those,
all her scenes were cut.
I'm sorry.
All her scenes were cut. Is that what you said?
All her scenes were cut. She was not in the episode at all.
That's like
walking backwards on one episode.
That's just like Jeff Dwoskin's career. He's every scene he's ever been in is just on the cutting room floor.
He's in my bat mitzvah video. He did that.
Everyone tuning in, welcome to Crossing the Streams. We have a lot of live viewers right now, folks. And so we were discussing Terri Stearn, mother of Paige Stearn, famous actress. And Terri just is going on and on about so many great stories. She has lots of great stories. And you got any more?
Yeah. All right. So The Leftovers with Justin Theroux. So Liv Tyler was in that show, and she's a complete other. Okay. Also, she sits in her tent with her air conditioning going and completely ignores everyone on set. Justin Theroux was super nice, and they let the kids have their phones because it was period, and the kids would be having their phones. So my daughter's texting me, I'm so close to Justin Theroux. I can see he's wearing Ray-Bans. And, she's like making me jealous because I'm like a big Justin Theroux fan. So what they would do is they would have all the moms always had to be on set. If they were underage, they always had to be on set. There were only 2 kids in the show. And Paige got this gig because she was a hula hooper, and they needed a hula hooper for the parade. So she's hula hooping her little heart out. And I hear Justin Theroux going, I like it, Paige. Faster, yeah, faster, do it faster. And I'm like, what? It was actually really funny. And then he left and walked off set, and I was in this little corral area, so I couldn't really be by the set. And he walks to go to the bathroom. He's holding a Starbucks, and he looks down, and I'm like, yeah, it's always like a thing. Like, should you take your Starbucks into the bathroom with you? So I had a conversation with him. He was super nice. He's like, will you watch it for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like licking. I didn't really do that. But I was like ready to just mess with it. I actually took a little picture of him too, but it's like a sideways picture where I was walking and stuff. And he came out, and I'm like, I handed him his coffee. I'm like, don't worry, I didn't lick it. It's kind of funny. He was super nice. He was a super nice guy. So, and super cute, but super short, what I was expecting. Yeah.
That's cool.
Most Hollywood actors are way shorter than you look at.
Well, that's because they're stepping on platforms like Lena Dunham, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Terri, did you know that my daughter was in Batman v Superman?
I did it.
That's Emma right there. My Emma Paige. So it must be the name. And
I think is Emma your oldest? I have the same birthday.
Youngest.
Okay, so your other daughter, we have the same birthday.
How much did your daughter make on that, Jeff? More than your comedy career?
So, all right. So your daughter's been in some pretty cool stuff. That's
$447 and 2 kid violations. 2 violations on they got her lunch at 4:30. Yeah,
it's not bad.
Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. All right, let's move on to another show. We got this is an interesting one. Just keep Who Killed Sara? I don't know.
I'm not going to wreck it for you this time, Jeff. Don't worry.
That was the Mormons.
It was the Mormons. They murdered. So, Zach, I got to tell you, I was impressed to hear that they're number 2 on the Netflix Metrix, right?
Yeah.
Because this actually came to me through just like a random algorithm. So I don't know if you guys know this thing, but this is a Mexican series. It's in its very first season, 10 episodes, and it follows the death of a young lady seemingly at the hands of her older brother. But it takes on like a voyage of understanding what actually happened. And then ultimately it becomes a show about revenge, which I don't know about you guys. I find to be revenge to be about the best overtone a show can have. The idea of a protagonist, my gosh, finding revenge for something which ended up like stealing a bunch of years out of his life. For me, revenge and like discovery, those are like the 2 sustainable themes for any series like this. And this has plenty of both. There is a fair amount of Latin machismo going on in this show, which I don't know if that's your thing or not. I don't know if that bums you out or gets you into it. But in this show, it's to say that, all the women are gorgeous. All the men look like they spend a lot of their week in the gym, and that's perfectly fine. But this is actually a really smart show, despite the unnecessary machismo thing. There's a bunch of plot twists. There's a bunch of things that happen in the show that even experienced series viewers will take them by surprise. And I'm really happy to see how this show takes on really taboo topics. It hits them pretty straight on too. It doesn't have any of the American sensibility to stay away from things that the studios, might not want to touch. Things like gay marriage or incest or some of the more third rail topics that I think a lot of the big shows today don't want to even go anywhere near. I'm not sure what the rating system is that they use in Mexico, but I can tell you this: the sex scenes are almost pornographic. Which is pretty right. The sex scenes are really without filter, and which is maybe unexpected for a show this smart and this well done. So it's an unusual combination, because usually shows rely on the sex to help the show get the viewership, but this is a very, very well done show. So, like I said, I'm not sure what algorithm got me.
Subtitled, Ron?
It is subtitled. Yeah, it's Spanish. It's
the sex subtitle?
The sex is subtitled. Actually,
I'm watching. The reason I asked is we're watching The Crown, and because sometimes with the accents it's hard, so we watch it with the subtitles on. There'll be like birds chirping. Water pouring. So it's like I can imagine what a sex
stew stuck in mud.
Yes.
He's doing great.
Yes.
He's doing
it's a skin slapping noise, I think, was one of those.
Skin slapping noise.
So I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying these foreign shows that Netflix somehow is finding for me. They're finding these shows in the world and getting distribution deals for these things. Netflix didn't make this show. They found it and they cut a distribution deal, like they have a number of other really successful shows. In this case, it is subtitled. It is really easy to follow. And I'm starting to get into feeling that there's a whole new genre of really awesome shows coming from Latin America and Spain, like Money Heist we talked about a couple weeks ago. Money Heist is a fantastic show, and it's a different style and a different vibe to them than traditional American shows. And this is another one I really enjoyed. So I breezed through all 10 episodes super quickly. It held my interest all the way through to the end, and I'm really looking forward to next season. Sal, I give it 4 tomato sauce jars.
All right.
Losing one jar purely on the fact that there are no average-looking people on the show whatsoever. Right?
Okay.
And
I'm giving it 5 jars. For the same
right.
reason.
So
to hop in there though, just to speak on that, it is a telenovela. So I mean, it is designed to be like, you know, very beautiful people, very machismo men, and it hits every single genre type of a telenovela. So the people that maybe don't like machismo stuff, but it's okay with sexy women walking around,
right.
It doesn't matter. It's a telenovela thing. So all those tropes fall into that. So it is that there is like the egregious bad guy, and there's like the revenge and the plot. It is really, really well done. But yeah, telenovela.
that's a really great way to encapsulate it.
Here?
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
So this was subtitled, you said, right?
Yeah, it's Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. So just a poll of Ron, starting with you.
Is that the question?
When you're watching a show like this, when you're watching a show like this, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm watching a show like this with you.
Have
We need
subtitles or
Bob.
dubbed? Subtitles or dubbed?
Oh no, dub. No. Dub is an immediate non-starter. I will not watch a dub show under any circumstances.
Agree.
Unless it's Japanese.
Nope.
Yeah, me too.
For those just tuning in, there's still time to guess. How long will Bob be here? He didn't make it.
How do I reset my router?
And I can tell you why dubbed is bad. Dubbed is bad because American viewers have a problem where they need words to match lips.
Yeah.
They have a problem with words matching lips, which means whenever things are dubbed, different words are forced into people's mouths to make it look like they're actually saying it when they're not. So subtitle, you actually get the actual context what they're saying. There are translators instead of people trying to make a better looking show for basic American viewers. So usually go subtitled.
And the odd thing is, like you guys, I've watched shows like when my wife ran through Game of Thrones in 2 weeks. She watched it with subtitles for the same reason, just to pick up on all the language. And it's easy to watch like that because it is different than what you hear. But if she left subtitles on when I started watching The Crew, and I had to turn it off immediately. Because it wasn't hard to understand the actual conversation, and it took me out of it. It was really a weird effect.
So here's my subtitle story. I went to see Armageddon in the movie theater. Okay,
Sorry,
my wife and I are sitting there. I enjoyed Armageddon. Of the meteor hitting the Earth movies that all came out at the same time, I think it was good. And don't even tell me you didn't cry when the Aerosmith song comes on at the end. So I'm sitting. My wife and I are sitting in the theater, and it's relatively full. And there's a lot of signing going on, American Sign Language. So people, and I'm looking around, and I'm just like, wow, there's an exorbitant amount of people who can't hear here. I mean, like everyone's signing, like well beyond the normal average of maybe one person. And what I didn't realize is, we had chosen a closed caption viewing of the movie.
Awesome.
Which was fine. It was fine. So we watched it with the subtitles, but sometimes when you're watching the subtitles, the words come on just a second too soon, and so it can catch it. It can kind of ruin something. But I just remember thinking to myself, God, there are a lot of deaf people here. This is just it's so randomly weird that there was this, just
Did you watch
like signing and seeing if anyone
could they're just signing. I'm just like, wow, this is well above the normal average. And I was like, but yeah, it was just I had ended up going to
Zach, did you watch this show all the way through?
I have 2 episodes left.
Good for you, man. You're gonna enjoy the last two.
I really enjoyed it. It was better than I thought it was going to be. When it started, I was like, "Oh no, what is this?" I've seen a couple of telenovelas. They're hard. Like Jane the Virgin is like the most popular one right now. But by episode 2, I was completely in. I fell into the story. I fell into like the universe that they do, and I plowed through a couple episodes really quick.
Yeah, check it out. It's a really quick watch, you guys.
Wrote it down.
I recommend it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm watching it too.
So of the shows that we talked
Sarah?
about today, Don't Fuck with Cats and Who Killed Sara. This one's about killing, but not as gross as maybe the cats one. Is that a
Yeah.
fair?
I think that's probably fair. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's
Well, they don't kill cats, so that's
Appreciate
fine.
you clarifying that.
Only,
Okay.
only one Sarah killed in this one, or is there many Sarahs killed?
Guys, I do have to. I owe Casey for Terry convinced about this was about Orange Is the New Black. He enjoyed your story, so that was cool. And then Ron, dig a great taboo revenge tale in porn. Convinced.
Yeah. Hey,
Casey Ryan
CRP, maybe you should get into like revenge porn. That seems like you would kind of get into efficiencies there.
All right, we got another awesome show that we're going to talk about. This show is called Kingdom. Now, we did talk about a different Kingdom a few weeks ago, but that was a Korean show. This one is about fighting, MMA, and Howard Rosner. Take it away.
So before I begin, if I may, I just wanted to address an issue that I think is. This is a Rosner rant, no question. One of the best features of the show, separate than the show itself, is Netflix use of something that others aren't. Like, we live in a tremendous age. You have literally every show, movie ever made at your fingertips in an instant.
Except when you really want.
Yes. You can ask for any piece of information from Google. You cannot leave your house, have groceries, meals, every supply you need delivered instantaneously or within 24 hours on Amazon. I do not spend my hard-earned money on premier payment plans for all of these streaming services to have to watch a series and repeatedly fast forward through the goddamn intro every time. Hulu, get, Amazon, get your shit together and be like Netflix and put in the goddamn skip intro button. It's ridiculous. And I appreciate Netflix because this series it has that, and so I appreciate it. Okay.
This has been a Rosner rant.
The Rosner rant.
Kingdom is a show that was recommended to me. It's a show that actually aired 3 seasons between 2014 and 2017 on, of all places, the Audience Network, which is DirecTV's in-house network. So they did no marketing. Nobody watched it. It stars Frank Grillo. He's in Boss Level, which is out right now, and from the Marvel movies. It's an MMA show. It's a drama. It's kind of got a little bit of like Sons of Anarchy set in an MMA world. The gist of the show is he's an ex-champion fighter. His 2 sons are fighters. The older son, played by a guy named Jonathan Tucker, who's in a new show called Debris. He is by far the best character on the show. He's exceptional in the show. And then his younger son as well. He, at the beginning of the show, a guy that he used to train, a fighter, just gets out of prison after 4 years on parole, who was his best talent as a fight manager, because he owns a gym now. And you learn that this fighter went to prison for, in a drunken rage, turning his father into a quadriplegic. And you also learn that Frank Grillo's character, his current girlfriend, was this fighter who went to prison's ex-fiance at the time he went into prison. So it's all set in the world of this gym that they own and train fighters. It's a superb show. I love this show. It's it's got a little bit of the MMA, all these characters, especially the fighters, are super alpha male. So you definitely have that. But they're also all very flawed emotionally, and you see them lose their shit and succumb to the emotions at different times during the course of the series, which I think is really added a really human side to this whole alpha male world. It's an excellent show. Another one of the characters is Paul Walter Hauser, who played Richard Jewell and was in I, Tonya, who's a Michigan guy, by the way, born in Grand Rapids, grew up in Saginaw, the big guy with the beard. He is, I just had watched Richard Jewell right before I started watching the show. He's, I think, one of the best working actors today. He is so good and at playing out their characters. He's just great. It's 3 seasons. You have to watch it quick. I just read today, actually, that just like the Who Killed Sara, it was a licensed show. It wasn't produced by Netflix. So the license is up and it'll be off Netflix by the middle of May. So it's 3 seasons. There's actually been petitions, and every time Frank Grillo does an interview, they ask him about doing a 4th season because the show didn't end in a natural way. They never got a chance to wrap it up. But it's a great show. It's really quick, 45-minute drama. It flows really well. I love it. And I was so happy that I picked it up, and I highly recommend the show.
Okay.
Sounds interesting. I Netflix could do a better job of telling its viewers when shows are about to come off. I know there's a way you can subscribe to that. I think there's emails you can get about that.
Yeah,
but they should have a better way to. If the algorithm can tell them that are the shows that you're going to like, they should also be able to remind you of shows that are going to disappear.
Well, there should be a whole section in the shows that are disappearing or shows this is the last month for, stuff like that.
I don't know. Is that I know you can search with you can get the list of codes to get really specific. I wonder is that one of the codes? Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just watched the
I like
the new
mystery.
terrible
I like this
stuff.
dropping. I like when shit just drops off.
Yeah. Right. Well, the problem is the library is so big now. I think it'd be difficult for them to, to stick all that in one category. It'd be impossible to sift through.
Frank, Casey Ryan Plot, great news, is convinced. Yeah. Good job, Howard.
He's really, really good in the show.
I do have, if anyone watching has any comments on skipping titles, I did have 2 kind of comments on that. One is there's no worse feeling when you go to do it and then don't get to it in time.
Like,
that's the worst. But then the other one is there's certain shows that it shouldn't be on. Like if somebody were to skip the opening of the Muppets, you don't deserve to be watching the Muppets. I'm sorry. It's just you don't. It's like
The Simpsons
or the
you
Simpsons,
need to see the
right?
Chalkboard.
It's like some shows should just not have it. It's like you have to watch it. It's part of the pop culture piece of that show.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I did notice that now the first episode in a series you can't, and then every one after you can.
That makes sense.
yeah, I think
I'm
it's
all
been
right
that.
with that.
I think it's always been that way. Yeah, I recall.
I
That.
will admit I always watch the intro to The Sopranos because I just love the music.
Yeah.
Because when it has good music, it kind of gets you in the mood. The Sopranos got you in the mood when
Sons of Anarchy is the same thing, by the way.
And the Brady Bunch, and
Crossing the Streams, of course.
Crossing the Streams.
It has one of the best ones. So I don't think we're going to talk about it, but Zach has a show where he's going to talk about the new King Kong versus Godzilla movie. Can anyone convince me to watch the Godzilla, the last one? For growing up, the Monster Week was like my favorite thing in the world, like Ghidra and Mothra and all that. So the fact that I just never even watched the other one, I thought Godzilla was okay. The new one, I thought it was pretty good. It was better than the Matthew Broderick one. I love Skull Island. Yeah. I got to admit, I love Skull Island. I'm a big Skull Island fan. And
that was good.
But I never watched, and these are all part of the same monster universe. That's why I'm mentioning them all. But like, I didn't watch the last one with all the monsters. And this one is King Kong versus Godzilla, which famously was made decades ago and is kind of almost comical. So what have you seen it, Zach?
Oh yeah, twice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm sorry. So which one did you see twice? King Kong.
The new
Godzilla?
one came out today. The
Okay.
Godzilla. Well, I've seen them all. I've seen everything at least twice. I see everything at least twice. So
You gotta go watch it a third time after here.
Is the other one
definitely will.
Is the other one good or no? The one with
No.
all the monsters?
No.
How did they mess that up?
Because they try to. The problem that these movies have is they keep trying to put a lot of human emotion into it, and they try to give you some weird human story, but they also want to show you the spectacle of the kaiju. And the problem is you really can't do both very well. The Godzilla that came out in 2015 was great, in my opinion. It was directed by Gareth Edwards, the guy who did the Rogue One movie, which was very cool. He did a very interesting take. He wanted to be like a Jaws. He wanted to be kind of a little bit terrifying. And then Kong Skull Island was cool. The problem was they lost the reason that the Kong story exists. Like Kong has a pretty traditional story, and that's why his story is told. Skull Island was a very good movie. The last one that came out, which was like King of the Monsters, it was just so weirdly torn apart by half human emotion, half who's doing this, also why, and nobody really cares. And every time they cut to a human, it was just a very weird, just derailment of the movie. So this one though focuses more on the kaiju. It focuses way more on the monsters. Every time you go to a human, it's like, oh, why is this even happening? They're just reading text messages. Like that's all it is. It's like awesome fight, beautiful, cool stuff, and then oh, this human's texting somebody, and then oh, cool fight, and then oh, this human's walking through a door. It just but visually it is gorgeous. If you're there for the monsters, it is phenomenal.
That's cool.
But the last one's last one's not worth it.
So if I remember correctly, the original plan with this was to put it in the world of Pacific Rim and King Kong and Godzilla, and it does make you look. If I know there are a lot of people that Martin Scorsese subscribe to his belief that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ruined movies, and you could have that argument, but to have close to 30 movies with the continuity and success, and really only 2 or 3 are mediocre at best of that bunch, it's pretty amazing, because Pacific Rim was a great film, in my opinion, and the second one was just absolute dog crap.
Yeah.
And just to show, I mean, that to have that type of success over such a long period of time, building a world of movies is truly amazing.
So can we get off topic for a second? I have to ask you guys a question. So we're doing some work in my kitchen. Okay. So we had this hang on. So we took down this part of the wall, and behind this part of the wall is the stairs. So there's a little Harry Potter thing going on in there. So I couldn't convince my wife to put a secret door. So we're sitting around with the guys doing the work for me. And we come up with this idea, well, wouldn't it be funny if we put a skeleton back there and maybe a little treasure chest with fake money in it? And then knowing that once it's sealed up, Robin and I we'll be gone 30 years later. Maybe they'll go to redo the kitchen and they'll take it down and they'll see this. And by this time, it'll be covered in dust, right? And they'll open up the wall and there'd be a skeleton there and this treasure chest. And that moment where they go to open it and they think, oh my God, I've hit the mother lode. And then it's just Monopoly money. Would that be so worth it to be staring down from heaven?
Yeah.
And witness it? Don't you think that would go viral?
It's a long way to go with not a lot of payoff at the end, though.
Well, not a lot of payoff for me.
Yeah,
but
you won't get to see
I feel it would be almost worth it, just putting that into the universe and allowing that to exist in the future, knowing that I'll impact the future in maybe 30, 40 years. What do you guys think? I don't know.
Go for it. What's the downside?
A door.
You could just plant a tree.
It's hard above it. You'll never know the door's there.
I could plant a tree, right? Oh, put oxygen into the world, not 10 seconds of viral mayhem 30 years from now.
You could do the Steven Spielberg thing and put a gun, a bunch of money in there, and then 15 years after you don't live there, run into the house, break the wall in, grab that stuff and go, you never saw anything, and then run out. That's pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That would
or Jeff, you can make it a package thing where it's like What if it's hundreds of years from now and it's things of today? Leave a mask in there, a phone.
Ooh, some antibacterial lotion.
Yeah.
I like
There you
that.
go.
Like sort of more of a time capsule.
There you go. Time capsule.
It is a time capsule.
I
That's
do. I
true.
like that. I like that. Yeah.
With the skeleton.
I do like. Well, I do want to thank everyone and all the great viewers. Thank you for watching Crossing the Streams, where we get together and talk about some TV that we think you should be watching. We're going to say goodbye now, but you can follow us and watch us on YouTube at the Jeff Dwoskin channel, on Facebook /Jeff is Funny. You can follow on Twitter at Big Macher. We go live every Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern. Probably the easiest place to watch us is on YouTube. Ron, say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Terry, say goodnight.
Goodbye, you guys. I like being the only chick, and thank you so much for having me. It was super fun. Now it's almost 10:30. It's time for bed, right?
Time for bed. Yes, Howard, say goodnight.
Peace out.
Bob, you made it. How long will Bob be here? If you had the whole
time.
The whole time.
If you had the whole
That's the
show,
over.
you're a winner. Yeah. Believe me, nobody surprises us. And again, thanks to our sponsor, Snack, Crackle, and Pop. All right, go ahead, Bob. All right, I think that's good enough. Sal, say goodnight.
Well, you can listen to Bob and myself on the Sal and Bob Show, and saldemilio.com for all my tour dates. Thanks for watching and listening.
Zach, my friend, go for it.
Goodbye, everybody. It's
Yes,
8:30, so I gotta go eat some cake.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you, everyone. I'm Jeff Dwoskin, host of Live from Detroit, The Jeff Dwoskin Show. Check me out every Monday on all the podcast things with Sal and Zach and some nobodies. We're everywhere, everyone. So we'll see you next week. Thank you guys for coming by. And thanks for crossing the streams.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Crossing the Streams, brought to you by SceneSnobs.com and part of the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Your hosts, of course, Jeff Dwoskin, Sal D'Amelio, Bob Phillips, Ron Lippett, and Howard Rosner. Follow us all on the socials, and we'll see you next week and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. We're going live and crossing more streams.